Hi everyone, my name is John and welcome to Homebrew Tube. Today we're going to be brewing up a very special 1 gallon extract kit from Craft-a-Brew. This kit only comes with the Craft Society. What is the Craft Society? It's basically your Beer of the Month club, except you have to make it. Now, these brew kits are very special in that you cannot buy them anywhere else. You can't get them on the Craft-a-Brew regular retail site, and you're probably not going to find these recipes in any other store. This one I was super excited for, so let's get to it. Today we'll be brewing Red Velvet, a white chocolate oatmeal stout. So let's find out what's inside the box. First, we have our specialty grains. These are our steeping grains. This bag contains 2 ounces of flaked oats, 1.6 ounces of red wheat malt, 1.2 ounces of Cara red malt, 0.8 ounces of honey malt, and 0.8 ounces of pale chocolate malt. After that, we have our hops. 0.2 ounces of East Kent Golding for bittering, and 0.1 ounces of East Kent Golding for flavor. We have our dry malt extract. This is a malt extract kit, and this one is 1¼ pounds of Briess Pilsen. We also have our standard ale yeast. In addition, to make this a red velvet stout, we have a few extra ingredients. We have mild cocoa powder. We have lactose, vanilla powder, and beet powder.
Pour 1½ gallons of water into the brew pot.
We're going to turn on our stove and heat this water to 155 degrees Fahrenheit.
While the water is heating, we will go ahead and prepare our steeping grains. I like to use a bowl to hold the grain sock so that it stays in place while I pour all the grains into the sock. In this case, we have flaked oats, red wheat, and Cara red, honey, and pale chocolate malts. Once we have poured the grains into the sock, we're going to twist it a few times and loosely tie a knot at the top. Add the steeping grains directly into the pot and hold the temperature at 155 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, remove the grain and allow any extra liquid to drain. Just be careful not to squeeze the grain and release unwanted tannins.
Now that we're done with the spent grain, feel free to discard it. But if you're like me, I'm going to save this and bake with it. It's great to put in all kinds of breads and any baked goods. So if you're looking for some recipes, be sure to check out Leah Noel Cooking right here on YouTube. What we do to take this is we're going to dry it at a very low temperature on a parchment paper lined tray, freeze it for storage, and then add it to our baked goods.
Bring the pot to a boil, and once boiling, remove from heat. Add in the 1¼ pounds of Briess Pilsen Light dry malt extract. Also, add the lactose. Stir well until the DME is fully dissolved. Return the pot to heat and bring to a boil again. You may notice a foam forming on top and bubbling. Be careful to control the temperature and stir as necessary to avoid any spillovers. Add in the first packet of hops, the 0.2 ounces of East Kent Golding for bittering, and start a timer for 60 minutes. With 15 minutes remaining in the boil, add the 0.1 ounce packet of East Kent Golding hops for flavor. At the end of the 60-minute boil, or flame out, add in the beet powder and mild cocoa powder. Add the brew pot to a sink with an ice bath or cold water. Place the lid on top to prevent contamination and allow to chill until 75 degrees Fahrenheit in order to pitch the yeast. Once the temperature has reached 75 degrees, use a mini auto siphon and transfer from the brew pot into a clean and sanitized carboy. I use a funnel with a fine mesh filter in order to aerate the wort, but to also remove unwanted hop particles. At this time, we will also use a hydrometer to get our original gravity reading. Pitch the yeast directly into the carboy and shake gently to activate the yeast throughout.
Now that we've pitched our yeast, we're going to take this, make a blow-off tube, and we're going to put it in a cool, dark place and let it ferment for the next week to 2 weeks. Last week we made this red velvet stout from Craft-a-Brew's Craft Society. So the next thing we need to do is transfer this out to get rid of some of this gunk and move it to a clean and sanitized fresh carboy. Additionally, we're going to be using our vanilla powder, and we're going to be making a tincture with this. In order to do that, we need to soak our vanilla powder in a small container of approximately 2 to 3 ounces of a neutral spirit. I happen to use vodka. In fact, I have a small bottle right here.
Once again, using the mini auto siphon, transfer the beer from the primary fermenting carboy into a new, clean and sanitized secondary carboy.
As you can see, we left a whole bunch of trub and spent yeast behind. We don't want that in our beer. That will negatively impact the clarity and just the overall quality of our beer. This already did wonders, but we're going to go ahead and put our stopper and airlock on top and let it condition for another 2 weeks before bottling. And you'll see once again, any leftover yeast that is spent will all fall to the bottom, and we'll just get one more chance to give it some extra clarity and filtration. Also some flavor conditioning. The flavors will mellow out and neutral and all kind of come together. Right now, if you were to drink this, it would taste probably pretty green or harsh, like a not quite ripe fruit. And we don't want that. So we're going to condition it for another 2 weeks. We're also going to add in our vanilla powder. So we'll do that here in a second. And after that, we'll be back for bottling.
Pour 2 to 3 ounces of vodka into a separate container. Then add in the vanilla powder. Gently shake the container to incorporate the vanilla powder into the vodka. Four days before bottling, place a funnel on top of your carboy and pour in the vanilla tincture.
All right, we are back with our red velvet stout, and this is one of the most exciting days, bottling day. This is finally finished in its primary and secondary fermentation, so all we have left to do is put it into our bottles, carbonate it for a couple weeks, and it'll be ready to enjoy. In order to carbonate our beer, we're going to have to give it just one last little kick of sugar. The yeast that's left over will eat this sugar, creating CO2. To achieve this carbonation, we can either use priming sugar or convenient fizz drops. I'm going to be using the fizz drops, but you're more than welcome to use the sugar. Just if you use the sugar, make sure you are very precise in your measurements and that you dissolve it and stir it around very well. You would not want one bottle to have more priming sugar in it than the other. That could lead to an undercarbonated beer or worse, overcarbonated gushers or bottle bombs.
Use the mini auto siphon to transfer the beer from our secondary carboy into our bottling bucket. I happen to use a wide mouth bubbler that is glass with a spigot from Northern Brewer. Place your first bottle under the spigot and carefully open to start the flow of beer. Fill the bottle to about 1 inch of headroom left from the top. Repeat to fill your remaining bottles, being careful to watch for any foam. You may need to stop and pause and wait for the foam to settle before filling the remainder of the bottle. Also at this time, take a sample into your hydrometer reading tube as we will use it to calculate the final gravity. If you didn't use priming sugar, add 1 fizz drop into each bottle. For the larger 22-ounce bottles, add 2 drops. Then place a cap in your bottle capper and carefully but firmly press down on the sides until your cap is fully sealed to the bottle.
Thank you all for joining me in making this Red Velvet Stout. Now that our beer is bottled, I'm going to put it away for at least 3 weeks before even cracking one open. Clocking in at 6.8%, tastes notes of sweetness, vanilla, and cocoa, and that red hue perfect for Valentine's Day from the beetroot. This is a wonderful Red Velvet Stout. For more home brews, tips, tricks, and beer reviews, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video for more.